All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving deep into one of the most famous ancient visions out there, the giant metal statue from the book of Daniel. But here's the twist. We're going to explore a really radical interpretation from our source text that pretty much turns the entire story on its head. So let me ask you something right off the bat. What if your life, your actual life, depended on knowing someone else's dream? And I don't just mean figuring out what it meant. I mean telling them what they dreamed in the first place. That is the absolutely impossible situation that kicks off our whole story. Okay, so our story starts in ancient Babylon. We're talking about the world's only superpower. And at the very top is the most powerful man on earth, King Nebuchadnezzar. But even with all that power, he's got a huge problem. The king has had a dream, and it has completely shaken him. He is totally convinced it's some kind of message from a higher power, and he is desperate to figure it out. So, naturally, he calls in his A-team, all the magicians, the astrologers, the wisest minds in his entire kingdom. His advisors, they say something totally reasonable. They say, hey, king, just tell us the dream, and we'll tell you what it means. Simple. But Nebuchadnezzar is not playing by the rules. He's got a condition, and it is terrifying. He flat out refuses to tell them the dream. He demands that they tell him what he dreamt and then give him the interpretation. I mean, it is a completely impossible test. And the punishment for failing? A gruesome execution. You can just feel the terror. The king is spooked, and he's ready to take everyone down with him. And you know what? He's not bluffing. The order goes out. Execute every single wise man in Babylon. This net, of course, sweeps up a young Jewish exile named Daniel and his friends, who weren't even there for the meeting. All of a sudden, their lives are on the line for a dream they've never even heard of. So Daniel asks for a little bit of time, he prays, and then the secret is revealed to him in a vision of his own. He's brought before the king, not to take a wild guess, but to declare with absolute certainty what Nebuchadnezzar saw, a single, enormous, and frankly terrifying statue. So he describes this giant statue of a man, but it's built from all these different materials from the top down. It starts with a head of pure gold. Then you've got a chest and arms of silver, a belly and thighs of bronze, and powerful legs made of solid iron. But the strangest part? The feet. They're this bizarre, totally unstable mixture of iron and clay. Okay, so that's the dream. The big question is, what in the world does it mean? And this right here is where our source material just flips the script, challenging literally centuries of interpretation. This isn't just about politics, it's about a whole new way of seeing history. Now, the common view, the one you've probably heard, is that this statue represents a sequence of pagan empires. Babylon, then Persia, Greece, Rome, each one declining in value from gold down to iron. But our source argues the complete opposite. What if the statue isn't pagan at all? What if it's a blueprint for 4 phases of God's own kingdom here on earth? The new imperial structure where his people are going to live. And here is the absolute key to the whole argument. The metals, the gold, the silver, the bronze, the iron, they aren't random. They directly parallel the metals used to build the Jewish temple, from the pure gold of the Holy of Holies all the way out to the iron gates of the outer courts. So the statue, in this view, is a new kind of temple. It represents the empire itself as the new domain for God's people. I mean, this reframes the entire vision, doesn't it? The progression isn't a decline in value. Think about it. From a practical standpoint, iron is way stronger and more useful for building an empire than gold is. This statue shows God's kingdom not losing quality, but actually gaining earthly strength and toughness, expanding its footprint in the real world. But wait, the vision isn't over. Just as this incredible metal man is standing there in all its glory, something else appears on the scene. An object that's about to change the course of history forever. Daniel tells the king he saw a stone, but this was no ordinary stone. It was, and this is the key phrase, cut out but not by human hands. What does that even mean? It's this mysterious detail that points to a divine origin, something not made by human effort or ingenuity. So our source connects this directly to a command in the book of Exodus to build an altar to God from uncut stones, stones that have never been touched by human tools. This stone, then, isn't just a rock. It's a new altar. It's the foundation of true worship. It's the seed of a brand new divine kingdom, one that starts out small but is destined to grow and grow. And this divine stone comes flying and strikes the statue right on its weak, brittle feet, and the whole thing, the gold, the silver, the bronze, the iron, is shattered into a million pieces. It blows away like dust in the wind. And what replaces it? The stone grows into a massive mountain that fills the entire earth. All the pieces of that old structure are just gone, replaced by this one single permanent kingdom that will never, ever be destroyed. So let's pull all of this together. What's the ultimate takeaway here? What does it mean if we see this statue not as some pagan monster, but as a blueprint for how God works in and through human history? Well, here are the key takeaways. First, this vision suggests that worldly empires can be seen as temporary houses for God's people. Second, the metals symbolize a progression in strength and earthly presence, not a decline. Third, that fatal flaw, the feet of iron mixed with clay, is a powerful warning against compromising faith by mixing it with imperial power. And finally, this whole structure is destined to be replaced by the stone kingdom, a global reality founded on a completely new form of worship. And that leaves us with a pretty big question, right? If this vision really does reveal a divine blueprint for history, a story that's moving from a temporary metal man to a permanent stone mountain, how does that change the way we see our own role in the world today?